You know it don't make much sense. There ought to be a law against anyone who takes offense at a day in your celebration. 'Cause we all know in our mind that there ought to be a time that we can set aside to show just how much we love you. And I'm sure you would agree what could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. I just never understood how men who die for good could not have a day that would be set aside for his recognition, because it should never be. That's because some cannot see. The dream is clear as he. That should make it become an illusion. And we all know everything that he stood for time will bring. For in peace, our hearts will sing. Thanks to Martin Luther King. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Why has there never been a holiday where peace is celebrated all throughout the world? The time is overdue for people like me and you who know the way to truth is love and unity, all God's children. It should be a great event, and the holiday should be spent in full remembrance of those who lived and died for the oneness of all people. So let us all begin. We know the love can win. Let it out. Don't hold it in. Sing it as loud as you can. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Ooh, yeah. Happy, happy birthday. Happy birthday. We know the key tonight, all our people, is in the dream that you had so long ago, that lives in all the hearts of the people that believe in unity will make the dream become a reality. I know that we will, because our hearts tell us so. Happy birthday. 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 Happy birthday, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hello, Lindsay. Hello, everyone here. This is Let Me See Your Transcript, your very favorite history teacher. How was everyone's Martin Luther King weekend? How was your Martin Luther King day yesterday? You said with the ad libs, girl. I am singing the actual lyrics. That is that's how many birthdays you have to say. Sing. This is a song, Happy Birthday lyrics by Stephen Morris, better known as Stevie Wonder. Um, After Dr. King's death in 1968, his widow, Mrs. Coretta Scott King, and also her family pushed for a recognition of a day to recognize him for his contributions not only to the African American community but also to the United States. Dr. King was also a Nobel Prize winner. And so there was a lot of lobbying of different presidents. Um, I want to say it was not, there was first an observance of his birthday, usually the third Monday in January. However, some states, like I want to say either Utah or Arizona, opts out of it. And so I want to say it may have been either the Clinton administration. I have to double check that, like, made it official. Okay. Okay. So, and when there was lobbying to make Dr. King's birthday, which is actually January 15th. So his birthday actually would have been this past Sunday. A holiday, the King family asked Stevie Wonder to write a song, and this was the song. And I remember watching TV, and they were having, I think I'm gonna say, was it the NAACP Awards, Image Awards? It was some award show, and he came on, and my family, we were all watching this, and then I forget what year it was, but since then, this has like become the official Black people's version of Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Like that has become the official Black people's happy birthday. Uh, uh, yeah, similar to not all states. Yeah, correct. Not all states recognize Juneteenth. And also, speaking of states, I'm gonna get this out the way because I know what a lot of you came in for. I see 5 people coming in. Please go grab a friend. Eh, grab somebody. Hope you have your favorite drink and favorite snack. Let's look at my thumbnail. And I posed the question. I said, which one has done the most for the Black community and is a man of God? And the reason why I am talking about this is because the last couple of weeks, I've been noticing this pattern. I have done videos on Brian Carn. That's the man with the pink tie right there. I have done videos on Umar Johnson. That's to the left of Brian Carn, and that man on the very far left, that is Larry Reid. Right now, a lot of you, uh, either in the Black church sector or you follow Tasha K or other people who are making videos about Tasha K interviewing the first accuser of Larry Reid of Larry Reid Live. Larry Light is also a minister. He was a pastor for 20 years. The young man that is accusing him of molesting him was a member of his church at one time. So silly. Okay. Larry Reid has touted, he has a weekly, very successful YouTube show, Larry Live. Usually comes on every Monday. I want to say he's had it for the last 7 years, I think, when he moved from North Carolina to Atlanta. And he started commentating, like he said, commentating about, he's a comedic commentator. That's what he said he is. And he's been doing about the Black church, celebrities, gospel singers, ministers. It did start out as, dealing with things in the Bible and, things like that. But I guess he, found his, what was more popular. he moved into that. And according to him, the church he had back in North Carolina, that he moved here and that they were meeting like once a month or once every couple of weeks. Then it became a church without walls type of thing, online only. And then he just focused on the Larry Reid Live. However, according to a deposition he had in the I believe it's the E. Dewey Smith case, or was it the Kelsey Stevens case, he said that the Larry Reid Live show was the entertainment arm of his church, and his church was called My Break New Now Church, and I want to say my MBN, like MBN Network, and then I want to say either last year or year before last, might have been 2021, he had some type of restoration church or something. They had a conference or something. Um, Also on his website, if you go to mbn.org, I think there's a thing where they do prayer calls. You can get prophetic counseling for so many, minutes, so much money per minute. They even have packages for counseling. They even have packages for advertising on his show. I mean, he is successfully figured out like, oh, okay, I can do this, and but unfortunately, he has gotten some people allegedly feels like he uses his platform to go after people he doesn't like or after people that his mentor, Archbishop Ebenor Jordan, uh, goes after. By the way, Ebenor Jordan was mentored by Reverend Ike, who was a prosperity preacher out of Harlem, New York. Okay. Um, Larry Reid calls Bishop Ebenor Jordan his mentor. Also, Conscious TV calls Larry his mentor as well. So, hope you see a pattern. Okay, but anyway, let me commentate myself. Larry Lifetimes makes statements, which he can, about other ministers, other pastors, other gospel singers. He has sung music and even got nominated for a Stella Award. Unfortunately, and deservedly so, Rance Allen, Lord rest his soul, beat him in that category. So you was not gonna beat Rance Allen. That was, I mean, I actually like that song. Yeah, I think it was called Smile or something like that. Not Kirk Franklin Smile, but something else. Okay. Um, Larry has also has his own uh, reality show called Reading My Way. Okay. He has talked extensively about relationships, sometimes being very descriptive about sex and sex acts. He's been very descriptive about his molestation that he experienced by members of his family. Um, I think he did it on T.S. Madison show once. Then he also did it on Conscience TV show as well. Um, I think one time he was on Archbishop Ebenor Jordan's show. He said something about it was exploration, not molestation, which is really confusing to me and a lot of other people. Okay. But a lot of times I feel Larry, you always hear things too. He always figures out a way to interject that he was a pastor for 20 years. He's been a pastor since he was like 18 and 19. He was like the associate pastor, and then he became the pastor of the small church. Now, there's been alleged rumors or different numbers about how many people were in that church. Okay, all right. Um, but I just have some issues right now. And I guess my issue is on this Martin Luther King, second day of Martin Luther King week, I'm gonna call it a week, is the fact that right now Tasha K is doing I think she said a 4-part or 3-part expose on Larry called, I think is it called, what is it called? Pastor, Prophet, or PEDO. Okay. Now, a couple years ago, um, me and my comrades, Daryl, Marcel, and Roxanne, we were learning about individuals who was in that church who came to Daryl and told him their story about how they were abused. Okay. Now the rest 2 years later, now the rest of the YouTube, more people on YouTube are learning about it. And the story from the accusers has not changed. However, and it seems like the defense of Larry Reid has not changed either. However, it seems that there are people who are treating, I feel, Larry Reid like how we treat Dr. King. And I'm having a problem with that. Okay. The last couple of years there have been people who are like, oh, stop lying on Larry. And this is people who put things in comments or in live chats. Oh, they're, you know what the Bible says, touch not mine anointed, because Larry Reid offers prophetic counseling. Okay. He's a pastor of the NBN church or Restoration Church. I don't know what he's calling it now. And he's mentored by Archbishop Ebenor Jordan. Okay, he's pastored for 20 years in North Carolina. So he has all of this experience. And I'm just looking at people, I feel like, why are you not seeing that there are things that he is doing and exhibiting and is saying that, one, that are not holy like, okay, that something that I feel like Dr. King wouldn't do. Dr. King was also a young minister. He graduated Morehouse when he was like 15, 16 years old. Okay. After Morehouse, he went to seminary. Then he went to another seminary in Boston where he met his wife, Coretta Scott King. She majored in music. He became Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, according to some, Larry Reid is a doctor. However, his bachelor's and master's degree, his master's degree in Christian counseling, does not equate him with being a licensed Christian counselor. His degree, his doctorate, is from an organization that no longer exists. So when I hear people saying like, oh, he's Dr. Reid, okay, Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, his degree was from an accredited institution. He had a thesis you have to go right. Now, however, there's been truth by some scholars who have shown some flaws in Dr. King's dissertation. But hey, he was a young man when it happened, but he got better. Dr. King got degrees from accredited institutions that have been around for decades, okay? Basically, Lindsay, Larry Reid got like some church had a school, and they gave Larry Reid a degree. The other his masters and his bachelors, they were like from some online schools, but they're not accredited according to the Department of Education. I think Apex School of Theology at the time, the last time I looked, I gotta go double check, their accreditation was in question. And then there was something from Hosanna Bible College, and I don't think they're accredited by SACS, which would be the South American, is it colleges, Commission on Colleges system? Because usually, because of the part of the United States you're in, The colleges are accredited by an agency. So where in Texas in the South it's by SACS. For Northeast it's NACS. I forget, is it WAX in the West Side? I think it's called, it's like the acronym. So basically, they certify that the institution is following these high principles to award these degrees to people. That's why people who got loans to go to Corinthian College, they got their loans basically canceled because the school was one lost its accreditation and was doing practices that were bad. Okay. So when I see people still, after 3 years, still defending Larry Reid, talking about, oh, the accusers were lying. Oh, why didn't they tell a parent? Okay. Oh, I was trying to help this person. And other people trying to justify their behavior or expounding on why Larry Reid is such a wonderful person. And I notice it is mostly people who are associated with him. Uh, Family and friends. Mentee, his protege, moderators, followers. And I'm just trying to figure out, we give this type of admiration, respect, and loyalty to Dr. King. Okay? He led the Montgomery Boys boycott. He got jailed in Montgomery jail for refusing to not march from Selma to Montgomery for voting rights. He met with President Lyndon B. Johnson to advocate for equal rights and voting rights. His organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, he created so that ministers in the South could help organize their communities and their churches for civil rights. Okay? He also published papers, books, gave speeches. He won a Nobel Peace Prize. But nobody is saying, touch not my anointed, when someone, that say, gives a critique about Martin Luther King, or to say disagrees with someone about Martin Luther King. No one is saying that. But people are saying that about Larry Reid. And I'm trying to figure out, Lord, this is sounding like some Jim Jones stuff. Okay? People talking about, oh, and then I found out some of his followers must be from his old church. I know who they are, because they start calling him by his old title, Apostle Reid. I'm like, Apostle Reid? I'm sorry, sir. I don't see. You're a good comedic commentator, but I don't see nothing about Apostle that you do or you say. And right now, I'm seeing a lot of cult-like behavior. And by the way, you need a better PR team than the one you have. You need to pay some money for a good one. You need to stop talking. You need to get your protege to stop talking for you. And find yourself another lawyer, a better lawyer that's with criminal, for what you're doing right now, because it's not looking good. Because it went from my comrade Daryl Moore, who has 7,000 subscribers, then to Bishop Whitehead, who I think has I forget how many subscribers he has on YouTube and Facebook. And now you're with Tasha Case put it on the story that she has 1 million on YouTube alone. It's going to be the regular networks after this. You're going to need some professionals to help you with this, sir. Okay, let me say something. I have heard rumors that Dr. King was a womanizer. I've heard it from older teachers, Black teachers who were back then. I've heard it from, stuff that I read. But then Deacon Young made a really good point. He's like, that might have just been what people said to discredit him. Because they did do that with a lot of civil rights leaders. They always try to say, oh, they like the white woman, or oh, they'll say they're communists. Okay. And I thought about it. I was like, that's a good question. But this is the thing about Dr. King. His was about being a womanizer. And then they also those around him helped him with his image because he also liked to smoke. Nobody knew he was a smoker till after he died. When he died, the men around him took the cigarettes out of his pocket. If you ever saw Dr. King, he was always in a suit and tie. Because they knew that, hey, the world and our community is looking at us. So we got to come in our best. Larry Reid used to wear the little suit and tie. Then all of a sudden, he's wanting to start, you get to Atlanta, dress more hip. Hey, QT1. Hey, Angela Smith. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Whose show was that on, QT1? Mm-hmm. Okay. So here we have something else, some more evidence about LR. Like I said, LR is having rumors that he was molesting young, impressionable, teenage boys. Dr. King, adult women. Okay. That's it. Yeah. Dr. King's degrees are from accredited institutions. He has books, letters, speeches that are being memorized by children or being put into other academic and literary works. Thank you, cutie one. Appreciate it. So for those of y'all out here windmilling for Larry Reid, calling him Apostle Reid, this guy, all the great things you said that he did for you. And matter of fact, I can believe that for some of y'all out there, he did do something great for you. But Reverend Dr. Martin King Jr. not only did something for his community, he did it for his country and he did it for the world. So if anybody out here should be getting defended left and right, up and down, and when people saying, touch not my anointed, y'all lying on the man, it is Dr. King, not Larry Reid. Some of y'all are treating Larry Reid like your God, by the way. Let's take it a step further. And you don't want nobody to question you. You start saying, oh, y'all just being haters. Oh, you know what the Bible says. Oh, they always say black people trying to attack each other and do bad things. It's called constructive criticism. We're not stupid. We're using what's called the spirit of discernment. You ask God for wisdom, like Solomon. And I am discerning that Larry Darnell Reid needs to go find him a good ass lawyer and sit down and stop talking. And whoever he's over there having his defending him right now, he needs to have them to be quiet too. What did you say? What did you say? Yes. And that's what I believed was happening. He groomed Levantre and some others to make it seem It was okay what he was doing, justifying what he was doing. And that's what keeps getting him into trouble. His mouth. Like, I need y'all to go check out Dr. Blue's last two videos. She took some notes about Larry Reid's Patreon, where he went after Tasha K's interview. By the way, the interview that she showed Monday night is not the full interview, because I have her membership. She has about 30, 40 minutes more that y'all don't even know about. I had to actually stop at one point because I was getting triggered. Because Levante was telling her things that Daryl never even got to 2 years ago. So I'm listening to that, and I'm looking at the people over there like, how y'all defending this? Levante said the man would give him, for, touching him or finding ways to touch him and do stuff. Give him $60. QT1, you know who his lawyers are? He got the same lawyers as Tasha K, Olga and Nadir. They were Tasha K's lawyers first. Then he needed a lawyer when E. Dewey Smith sued him. So I'm thinking Larry Reid gonna come out here and say, you know what? I ain't touched nobody. I ain't get nobody $60. Guess what this fool said in his Patreon? According to Dr. Blue, he said, "Oh, I gave him $60 so he will leave me alone. He was bothering me." Are you trying to tell me some child, when you're in a fucking adult, you gave them $60 so they'll go away and leave you alone? Who does that? And Dr. Blue made a good point. So how come you just say, "Oh, I gave him $60 so he can have money for lunch at school"? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing, cutie one. But this is gonna make the point. Uh, since you, sir, Larry Reid, sued my friend in court and then asked for mediation so there won't be no trial. Okay. And by the way, nosy bystander, I love you to love the Lord, ma'am. You got some things wrong. Larry Reid did not win that case. In mediation, it said that Larry Reid and Darren Moore could not talk about each other forever, ever. Forever, ever. Okay. Videos about each other will have to come down. That's why you see CDV, Contra TV, and Knockoff Media for a long time were making videos about Daryl. And Larry wasn't. Mm-hmm. So nosy bystander, Larry Reid didn't win nothing. Go look on Pacer. I know you do. And I like your program too. But that video, I disagree with, man. Okay. But I know you're not known about, this black church sector. This is all of this is new. So I'm just letting you know that part is yeah. Okay. And the explanation about Daryl wanting to try to befriend Larry Reid, and Larry Reid rebuffed him, and that's why Daryl wanted to start making videos. No, ma'am, that's not happening. That is not true. Basically, Larry Reid signed what's called, I guess, like a what do you call it? A consulting agreement, consulting contract, which really looks like an NDA with E. Dewey Smith that begged for $10,000 that said, "Hey, you will consult me on things related to the media, and you will consult me first, okay, before you come out here and speak for me," basically the document said. "And then you are not supposed to talk about me, my employees, or anyone in my church, okay?" But Larry Reid went and did that when he talked about a case of a former member, former associate pastor of E. Dewey Smith's church, who was being accused of rape. Larry Reid talked about it on Larry Reid Live. E. Dewey Smith said, "Hey, dude, you violated our consulting agreement." And Larry was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not talking about you. And this man don't work." I think the guy didn't work at that church. Okay. Something like that, allegedly. I'm trying to remember. It's been a couple years. So, E. Dewey Smith sued Larry Reid for breach of contract. Right. Because he's not showing his face more because that's what he's trying to do. He don't want nobody to look at his environment. Remember how what's his name? Andrew Tate? He was over there making fun of that Greta climate change teenager, or she's like 1920. And so she like, gave him she said something about him in return. And so he got mad, wanted to one up her, and he gonna do a video. He gonna have pizza on his desk and he's in his robe. And so the police, they looked at the type of pizza he had on his table and they're like, "Oh, we know where that place is." And they triangulated and found out where his house was and arrested him. See, that's why you can't see him. Okay. My friend, I'm gonna go back to my comrade, Daryl Moore asked Larry Reid in the comments, "Hey, did you take $10,000 from E. Dewey Smith, for not talking about him? Do you owe him this money? Did you violate the NDA?" And I'm just summarizing. It probably wasn't the exact comment, but it was like he was asking him about this incident. He wasn't trying to be his friend. I don't know where that shit come from. Y'all need to stop. But Larry Reid got mad and was like, "How dare you question me? Who are you? Some cigar vlogger with you don't even have 1,000 followers yet." Something to that effect. You know. And then so after that, Darren was like, why can't you just answer the question? Why are you hiding? And so, other people were sending Daryl information. Okay. Because some people didn't like the whole lot what was going on with E. Dewey Smith. Okay. And then, a lot of people were encouraging Daryl to start his own YouTube channel, including at that time, King Jobs encouraged Daryl too. And then those of us who were mods and people in King Jobs chat, we came over to support Daryl and we were listening to what he had to say. We were like, "Oh, he makes some sense." And then Larry Reid got mad about that because people who were in his chat were now listening to Daryl because Daryl got smart parts and he makes sense. Spirit of discernment, wisdom. Okay. Yeah, Larry Reid and Bishop Whitehead are a lot alike. That's why I didn't put Bishop Whitehead on the thumbnail. I mean, in Bishop Whitehead's case, it's obvious. No, man, no, sorry. I mean, he keeps saying like, "Oh, I do things in the community. The mayor knows me." Da, 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 da. But yeah, you're Bishop Bling Bling. You use a prosperity preacher. We don't like some of the stuff you do, especially taking that woman's money. We think you took it, sir. Yes, we do. Some of us just don't like Larry Reid that much. We just like you giving him the business. That's all. But y'all two sides of the same coin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Now the next thing I want to talk about is I'm gonna leave Umar to last. Let's go with Brian Carn on the right. Pink tie. Brian Carn was a teenage preacher. Like he started preaching, I went somewhere in his teenage years, like middle, maybe early high school. He was known as like the boy prophet. Okay. Before he became Pastor Carn of his church, okay, the Kingdom City Church. I think it has like 2 or 3 locations. He was Prophet Brian Carn. And some people still call him Prophet Brian Carn. Okay. But just like some people allege that, hey, Martin Luther King was a womanizer and committed adultery on his wife. and he's sleeping with all these women. There's some of the same things been alleged about Brian Carn. Like, hey, he sleeps around. Guess what though? Brian Carn is single. His relationships are consensual. He just happens to be what's the word I'm looking for? Whorish. He's whorish. And in this particular instance, he actually not only is he whorish, allegedly he has several children out of wedlock. Um, there have been some relationships he had with women. One of them is the hood evangelist, I guess. And there's a video where she confronts him in church because obviously he made, according to her, some promises that he didn't keep. Hmm. Also, there was a um, video of a what do you call it? What do you call it? Safe House or Muzzle Clubhouse. I think her name is Trellis. Charlene, I forget what the lady's name is. Um, and I think at the end of this video, you'll see a picture that gives you the link to that video, where you'll hear eyewitness testimony from people who attended Brian Carn's church and said what it was like being under his leadership. And for him, it's his way or the highway. And allegedly calls it them very toxic environments. Still womanizing, calling out people in the pulpit. Okay, there have been videos of Brian Carn throwing stuff at the music minister. I have done videos on Brian Carn talking about he gonna take people Christmas, being a Grinch to stole Christmas. I think the year before last. But then allegedly, members of his church the previous year gave him a Cadillac or a car for a Christmas gift, and I'm thinking like, is he gonna get that back? Somebody taking your Christmas tree, your Christmas, your presents, everything in here. And I'm like, what kind of Grinch is it? Did you ever hear Dr. King talking about he finna take some Christmas away? All the speeches and everything he made. Have you ever heard no mess like that? Dr. King was also pastor of a church. One in Montgomery, was it that? And then also in Atlanta. Have y'all ever heard anything proof that Dr. King was throwing stuff at the music minister because they wasn't singing right? Hmm? Have y'all? Have y'all heard anything like that? I'm just saying. Okay. And then I had the same problem. And also, this is another thing some of y'all may not know. Did y'all know that um, Brian Carn plagiarized not one but two prophecies? Shout out to Miss Justice of the Church Worker Revolution. If you go to her channel, she made a video showing Brian Carr giving a prophecy, which by the way, he was reading from a paper. I don't know the last time anybody did a prophecy and they were reading from the paper. Okay. Reading from the paper. And then she found a psychic who gave the exact same prophecies months before Brian Carn. Do you know that there were still people saying that uh, the lady copied from him? The tape literally says when her program was on TV. And they kept calling a woman a witch. No, she was a psychic. Okay, she's on TV. She had a channel. She had a little number you can call everything. She was on in February of that year. I think was it 2015 or 2014, and he was on basically at the end of the year around December, November. And then there were still people who were following him, saying, "Touch not my anointed." Do my prophet no harm. You ain't no prophet if you plagiarize off someone off the television. Hell, and both of y'all was wrong. Because they kept saying like, oh, young Bush is gonna go up and old Bush is gonna go down. I'm just he basically was saying that George H.W. Bush, the older Bush, was gonna die real soon. That man until live another like 5, 6, 7 years. It's foolishness. And then like last year, some lady said something about uh I forget what her name is. I think I did a video on that too. Said something about um oh, I had to drink. The lady, I think both of them were full of stuff. But she actually, her prophecy actually came first. She was like, oh, I heard something from the throat. You need to get this Listerine. It's gonna help with the germs, all that kind of stuff. And it was just like some, and they were talking about, oh, you look on the CDC says, the CDC wasn't saying all that. But anyway, she was telling this prophecy on Instagram. A week, a week later, a few days later, here come Brian Carn with the same damn prophecy. Do this twice. And people are still like doing that same thing, making excuses, giving home this praise and reverence for someone who actually was not doing and walking and speaking like Dr. King. Why are you giving? This man keeps making a mistake after mistake. Now he getting sued for sleeping with another minister's wife. I've done a video on that. Bishop Senegal's wife. He did it twice. And they did, according to the Bible, when you have a disagreement with somebody, what you're supposed to do? Go with them, try to talk to them. If they don't want to talk to you, bring someone with you. Bishop Senegal brought somebody with him from the church. Hey, I need to talk to Brian Carn about this thing I learned about the text message from my wife. Brian Carn, from the complaints online, he said, yes, I'm sleeping with a man wife. Now I'm thinking like once you say that, you're not supposed to keep doing it no more. Bishop Senegal and his wife decided to separate, maybe go to counseling, work on it. She said, I'm gonna go to my grandma's house. She didn't go to her grandma's house. She went hang out with Brian Carn in North Carolina. So here come. So here come Bishop Senegal gets the leaders of the church, go confront Dr. Carn again. Yeah, I did it. They say, Brian, you need to stop. Brian said, no, I'm not gonna stop. The Bible says, thou shalt not commit. I'm sorry. It says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. It's adultery. Now, I can say this now. Allegedly, Dr. Martin Luther King, they said, cheated on his wife, Coretta. So he was committing adultery too. No confirmed proof, you know. However, in the complaint, guess what it says? It says text messages, FaceTime, and emails, okay? So I'm thinking that's proof right there. Now, we know that they didn't have text messages, emails, and proof, but hey, there are letters. There is DNA. I mean, I guess we would have found out about an extra king child by now, probably. I'm just saying. But you have to understand something as well. Let's say Dr. King was allegedly cheating on Coretta, committing adultery. Did that stop him from actually providing for his wife and his 4 kids and pastoring the church and trying to fight for people's civil rights in the country? No. His vice was not a distraction from the work that he was doing. It wasn't something that was a distraction, let me say it again, to the work that he was doing in his community and his church. I'm just saying. And I hear people who are in my comments, y'all. I'm going to read y'all a comment. I've had several videos last month. One was a no jumper video. Shout out to the no jumper crew. Shout out to the people who've been watching me, who follow no jumper. I appreciate you. That video is like, um, that video is 2.5K views. My Surviving Kingdom City Church by Brian Carn, 1.5K views. Okay. Okay. My video about Jaguar Wright, 1.1. Okay. But I wanted you to, I'm going to read, I'm going to read to you the comment from that video. And I like comments. I actually respond to them. But there have been some people this in this comment section that is out here caping for Brian Carn. I don't know. It makes me feel like, okay, is Brian Carn running the cult? These want to be flying monkeys? Are you his new girlfriend? These children? What is going on? So already I got someone in my chat from yesterday. Raymond Ingraham. Oh, hey Raymond. What were you saying? I'm sorry. What what are you saying not want to? Okay. So this is a lady that's in, I think it's a lady, in my comment section. And y'all can go over here to my Kingdom City church. It says, it's sad how far we would go to bring a man of God down. God say, touch not my anointed. I told you they say this. Lindsay, my question is, um, the question was about out of the four. I was talking about Dr. King. Because of those three right there, mm-mm. If I judge them by their fruits, then no. Yeah, this other lady, the same lady says most of these women want to be with Prophet Carn. Mm, yeah. Then there's this another guy. He's been going back and forth with me for like let me see if I can find it. For like several weeks. He says this is 10 days ago, y'all. And see, this is the stuff they're saying. They said I've seen similar things said about Larry Reid. I've seen similar things about Prophet Carn. What I do is called constructive criticism. Men of God, black leaders, activists, presidents even can have constructive criticism. Like, hey, I think this person should do this, this, and that, and not that. This will be more effective. But some of you, because these are your favorite people, you see any criticism as, oh, you are being negative. You are being unchristian like. You're not being maybe a proper black person, because you're not being supportive. What I'm not a supportive of is foolishness, things that are illegal and immoral. And I'm not going to go along with this foolishness. Okay? So this man says, good evening. You're going to be removed from YouTube for what you keep doing. Find something positive to report besides Melanie and other people's business. You'll learn to stop judging people. It doesn't matter what people are doing and what they have done. They belong to God, not you or anyone else. That was 10 days ago. So I was responding back to him for a while. But then other people um, uh, were responding to him too. Like, hey, dude, do you not see what Brian Carter's been doing? This is not gossip. They're reading these are people who went to his church. I even have another video where I went over the article, went over the government documents, y'all, of the complaint against Brian Carter. Did you know people came in my comments about you need to stop gossiping? I'm like, how is this gossip if it's true? It is a document. I am reading the document. The document's on the screen. So this is the same dude comes again and says, God bless you, sister. Why is he telling me God bless you? And then, okay. He says, let me see his transcript. Needs to stop. She's out of order. Praying for her. She's a school teacher. God bless you. Prophet Carn is a true man of God. She's trying to reverse onto what she's saying and doing. She needs to be careful. And I'm thinking, like, sir, um, mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just, y'all listen to this? Y'all listen to this, right? Then some other man, hold on, let me see. Oh, when he said that I was out of order, yeah, I said, excuse me, when and where has Brian Carr been a true man of God? He has plagiarized two prophecies. Then he says, good morning. You are how what you were like if someone did this to you. Why don't you contact him and others instead of saying things out of your mouth? God's watching you, ma'am. Find something educational to talk about. You're a teacher. Praying for you. God bless you. So I say, you didn't answer my question. God's watching you too. Also, I have plenty of educational videos, and I've never seen any comments on those videos. And like I asked you, not others, when and where has he been a man of God? Because there's lots of evidence out there that he has not been. So give me some examples of him being a man of God. Like I'm literally asking this man, you say this man is a man of God and he's doing all these great things. Give me an example. Mm. And they keep saying, it's not your place to judge anyone else. But I do ask for a spirit of discernment and for wisdom, like Solomon. Okay. And there are judges and juries. And I do believe the Bible says, do not judge, least thee be judged. I'm not sure if I'm getting that correct. Where the saints at? Where the saints at? Basically saying that you're gonna be judged in the same measure that you are judging someone else. Okay. And so the man said, this man crazy. Not crazy, but I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Oh, see, so someone else is they're responding to someone else and saying, um, "Good morning. It is better to give than receive. Woman, just simple-minded, your own self business, and leave everyone else's alone. Talking about education in the school system would suit you better. God bless you. Enjoy your day. So offend me and then tell me enjoy my day." And I say, LaVon Reed, I do talk about education in the school system. Do you even watch those videos? Because I do have them. And then he says something about the spirit. Oh, he says, good morning. I'm conducting myself in the spirit. She and others need to mind their own self business. Stop posting things about people's business when it does not pertain to them. You need to leave him alone. He belongs unto God and allow him to judge and not us. God bless you. And I'm thinking to myself, I told this man, I said, dude, aren't you judging me for, according to you, judging him? Maybe you the one that need to back up. And I said, what kind of spirit? Because I don't think it's the Holy Spirit. Raymond Graham. Okay, Raymond Graham Ingram. What are you talking about? I'm confused. The reason I said not one is because they interrupt what they see as the word of their God, but God knows best and what His word means, not because they interrupt what they believe is meant by His word. Okay, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not understanding. Can you reset it a different way, please? But I'm saying is like there are people out here with capes on, windmilling, and consistently Brian Carn has shown over time and time again that he is not living right. But people are telling me, touch not anointed. Don't judge him. The Bible says don't judge him. And then when I was going over the court documents, people were like, well, the Bible says you're not supposed to go to court. Well, you're supposed to go take someone with you. Well, he did that. Bishop Senegal did that. He took someone with him to talk to the man. And now he's treating him like a tax collector. He's taking him to court. Why are y'all upset with us for pointing out their bad behavior and why people should not follow them? Like I said, y'all acting like Brian Carr is Dr. King, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Yes, Brian Carn has given out gas cards during the pandemic. He has done things in his church and his community, but he also done some other things that allegedly that should be called for him to go sit down. You are under, you are being sued by another man of God for sleeping with the man's wife. And the man's former wife admitted she slept with you. Sir, that is not gossip. It's the truth. Okay? So all y'all little Prophet Byron Corn fan, y'all gonna say the lady lying on him? Hmm. Why are you following someone who is not following the Bible? Who's preaching you to live right, but they're not living right themselves? Come on now. Don't make no sense. Whew. Now, last and yes, very least, is in the middle, Umar Johnson. The other day, y'all were doing the same thing. Now, Brian Carn and Larry Reid are in the church world, okay? They're in the church world. Umar Johnson is a Pan Africanist. He follows the Ifa religion, West African religion. He was raised Muslim by his father. That's why his name was changed from Jermaine to Umar. And right, so okay, so but Umar preach well to me. I feel like he emulates a lot of what these ministers how they talk to you, and I think for the most part, most Black people's introduction to religion and a speaker or a leader is by a minister. Okay, so he goes on these lectures, which I think of as evangelical, revivals, and preaches about, oh, we should, be more Pan African. We're all these Black people all over the world. And oh, by the way, I'm going to help save boys on this earth, on this country. Give to my school. He's been saying that for 15 years. He bought 2 degraded buildings. He basically is having a, like some of these churches have a church building fund. He got a perpetual building fund too for 2 schools. No, 2 buildings, because if a house is not a home with no one there, I know a school is not a school if ain't nobody there either. So, but people are giving him money, and his supporters are sounding like these people who follow Brian Carn and who follow Larry Reid. Instead of them saying, touch not mine anointed, they're telling us like, oh, you need to stop putting a Black man down. He's trying, he's doing something in his community. What are you doing? Well, I'm a teacher. I'm teaching future leaders of America. I have over 20 years experience in education. I'm certified in social studies and special ed. I've been to continuing professional education. Okay. So I feel like among anything, someone who's trying to open up a school for Black boys, I have every right to constructively criticize Dr. Umar Johnson. Yes, he's a doctor, got his degree from an accredited institution. But guess what? I can find Dr. King's dissertation. I can't find Umar Johnson's dissertation. Why is that? Hmm? Why is that? But the irony is, here is, but guess what? Guess what Umar Johnson did recently that I had an issue with. He allegedly called the police on another black man, black leader in the community who has their own school that is up and running. They have a physical building. Also, they have online classes for students who are in other states and other cities. He threw shade at the man's school in front of the man's students. The students called Q Butter. His name is Q Butter. He is the I guess principal and founder of Ziax Institute. He has actually created a school in his community. And he didn't stop Umar Johnson from coming into this community and saying, hey, you can't uh, ask for donation to your school. By the way, it was a Khalid Muhammad event in Brooklyn, which I would think if the event is about Khalid Muhammad, that should be your focus and not you talking about give me money for a school or throwing shade at a fellow black man in your same community because you keep talking about Pan Africanism. We're all part of the Pan African diaspora. That other black men who has a school too, they're part of that same environment. But what ended up happening as Q Butter in his own chat on his own channel is telling everybody about his event, there were people we call Amarians, followers of Umar Johnson, who were in there defending him, and they were saying the same things, but in a different way, just like the people who follow Larry Reid and who fired Brian Carn. They don't want criticism. They put Umar Johnson on this high pedestal. Oh, he's the only one out here trying to do this and that. Is he really? Because Q Butter got school. There's another guy named King Randall. He's 21, 22. He got a school too. Georgia. He started after Umar Johnson getting donations and got one. LeBron James got a school. Okay. There are other actual Pan African schools around the country, but you keep putting them down. One of the things that Dr. King did was stressing education as helping to move Black people forward. That means, guess what? You ain't the only one out here educating people. Why are you acting like you are the savior? Calling yourself the Prince of Pan Africanism. I think at one time you called yourself the Black Messiah. You were related to King Ramses. Your ancestors, Frederick Douglass. That's a lie. You ain't never heard Dr. King going around talking about, oh, I'm descended from who, whatever. You never heard him repeating his family tree. And he's all Umar Johnson always talk, oh, this is what I did in the conscious community. This is what I did in the conscious community. Dr. King didn't say that. You saw him in the community and you saw what he was doing. Umar Johnson has criticized people who protest. Dr. King protested. Umar Johnson has criticized people who marched. Dr. King marched. So I'm trying to figure out, understand, how are you over here, especially on Martin Luther King weekend, using Martin Luther King to push your events so people can come and see it? Okay, putting down people who march, protest, give speeches, and then want to say you honor a man who did the same thing. Tell me what is wrong with that. And then I heard the same man, Dr. Umar Johnson, say how much um, he is continuing the work of Malcolm X and Dr. King. And I was just thinking, like, in what world? Who passed you? Who passed him the baton? Who told you to take up this mantle? Because you are not following it, sir. You do most of your videos from allegedly your mama's corner of her house. Okay. You always asking women for hugs. I don't see no, go to his Instagram and they're all, most of them are women. Like, are you a rock star? And by the way, he got a horse. He's a whore too. He's like Brian Carn. He's a whore too. He's whorish. He got confirmed 2 children. I think his oldest daughter should be like 19, 20. His youngest daughter should be like what, 6, 7, 8, or something like that. Allegedly, there may be more. Okay, so he wants 2 wives. He's 47, 8 years old. He ain't got none. Like the king had 4 and a wife that he took care of, and she marched with him. Okay, he died. She was out there still fighting for civil rights, fighting for the recognition of her husband. Okay, Dr. King used to go give speeches because people would give him money for the speeches, and then he gave it to either the SCLC or to do things for his church, not for himself, not ask for money and then go on trips, being a Japanese man. And I believe the only trip that I ever saw, with 2 trips, the only 2 trips that I ever saw that Dr. King took out of the United States, one was to go get the Nobel Peace Prize, and the second one was when Malcolm X died, and Dr. King actually got depressed and went to Jamaica. And while he was there, he started writing. And when he came back, it was like the spirit of Malcolm had like come upon him. He started saying, you know what? Um, integrated schools is good, voting is good, but black folks need economic power too. Also, by the way, this Vietnam War, like, no, this is not right. He got a lot of criticism for that. Dr. King actually talked a lot about other people than themselves. So when I saw these people in the chat and Q Butter talking about how great and wonderful and defending Umar Johnson and criticizing people who was giving him criticism, I was like, are y'all serious? This man lives in his mama house, lives in hotels. He plagiarized 2 books. I can't find his dissertation. I can go to the library and find Dr. King's books or teachings. Heck, I can go online now and find a speech, an article, letter from a Birmingham jail. Have any of those 3 men on the side gone to jail in defense of others? Have they raised money, not for their own litigation, but for other people in the movement? Have they been recognized by predominantly most of the Black people in the community, the United States, or the damn world? Are they meeting with community leaders, presidents, governors, city councilmen? Are they organizing marches? Are they organizing acts of civil disobedience? I have a problem, Umar Johnson. You keep talking about like you're Martin Luther King, but you don't walk in his walk, sir. And I'm tired of this cult like behavior. But a man who actually did a lot of things, I don't know nobody that case for him like that. But his kids, and deservedly so. Sometimes they did a little bit overboard, a little bit, But it's just, this really gets me. I want to, y'all hold on a minute. I'm gonna go find something that I saw, and y'all hold on a minute. Let me put the music on. Put the music on. And put the music on. And on and on and on. Is it playing? Can y'all hear it? Hey, everybody, you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna try something. I want to flip my camera around so you can see this. Hey. Well, let me flip my camera. Let me see if it'll let me do it. Okay, can y'all see this? Oh, yeah, I can see it. Okay. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so I want to show y'all this. So this is the people talking about they like Dr. King. So this is Dr. Umar Johnson. This is his Instagram. Now look at his. This is actually a nice uh, picture. Assassinated by U.S. government. Hashtag the king, the last real leader. Rest in eternal paradise. Happy Earth Day ancestors. January 15th. 2020 January 15, 1929. I was okay with this. I was until I saw this. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? So he used Dr. King's birthday to advertise for his next event, which is for Black History Month. Hmm. I'm just trying to understand. You, the last real leader. Okay, but this is what I saw too. Y'all look at this. Okay. Hmm. So y'all have probably seen pictures of Dr. King and he's like resting his hand on his chin. And so somebody, I don't know who, turned turn Dr. Umar picture into Martin Luther King into him or something like that. And it says the modern day MLK. And I'm thinking to myself, who? What little kid? Was it a little kid? Was it a little kid? And again, let's look at down here. Oh, look at this. We're advertising. We're advertising. I guess I'm helping you advertise. But I don't see nothing about. Oh my goodness. Y'all see this mess? Oh, it's not gonna be 2023. It's gonna be 2024, y'all. Didn't he say the same thing a couple years ago? But look, this is the thing. Where do you see anything about them cleaning up? having another block party, painting, or the electrical, whatever. I'm trying. Who made this? Dear person who made this, where are you? What does that say? And it look, he posted this. What day did he post this? 2 days ago on MLK's birthday. So what is he trying to say? Oh, he's the modern day MLK. I think the hell not. Hell no. Oh, this. Let's look at this one. We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. Ain't this the most ironic thing you ever seen in your damn life? Umar Johnson loves the internet, publicity. How many times he tell us he been on the Breakfast Club? Huh? Hold on, let's get back to what are they saying? Okay, that's what it said. Let's see what it says. Okay, peace and oh, it's a question. Someone said. Peace and Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. I know that when referring to you, many YouTubers and other so-called conscious people don't refer to you properly as Dr. Umar or Dr. Ifatunde. They simply refer to you as Umar. Do you take offense to this blatant form of disrespect? Which one of y'all answer this question? Uh, are we okay? Let's look at this. Okay, I do not take offense, really. I choose to become a psychologist while in the third grade, very early in my life. Earning my doctorate with all the racism and sabotage that came with it was all things a very personal achievement. First, they said I had no such credentials. Now it has become a matter of not accepting the fact. I understand that many brothers enviously represent other black men who have accomplished things that they have not. Oh, like having to open their own school? Okay. When brothers call me Umar rather than Dr. Umar, I know it's his way of expressing disdain for me. No, maybe that's they just see you as their friend. Like, hey, Umar, like you might. I know it's his way of expressing the same. It's become, and I am absolutely fine with that. I seek validation or approval from no one. So if refusing to acknowledge me proper makes him feel better, then so be it. I heard Africanism or perish. Okay, sir, I did call you by Dr. Umar Johnson. Ooh, sorry, y'all got an Amber Alert. Victim is 11-month-old white female daughter Stevie was last seen wearing unknown clothing. She was 9-year-old white male, Zach Smith, who was last seen wearing unknown clothing. Lord have mercy if they find that baby safe. Ooh, Millen, Texas. Oh my God. Dr. King, Dr. King. He got a picture of Dr. King and his daughters. That's Bernice King right there. Oh, and then again, look at that. Oh, he's advertising for himself again. Hmm. What Dr. King posts. Hmm. Hmm. Y'all, Dr. King, thank you so much for all your contributions that you made to African Americans in this country, to United States citizens, and to the world. Not only for civil rights, but for human rights. Just let me see your transcript. You're a very favorite history teacher. And I have something to say to everyone here. The next time someone tells you about a Black community activist, a preacher, imam, imam, rabbi, anyone in the Black community who's doing so well for the Black community that they cannot be criticized, ask them, how are they like Dr. King? Hmm? Is their degree accredited? Can you find their dissertation and read it? Are they married and have children? A good relationship with them? Are they advocating for other people, fighting for their rights, or are they asking for money? hmm Are there allegations of um, adultery, impropriety, anything like that? Do they have questionable degrees? There are questionable things that they say or do that means, hey, I probably shouldn't follow this person. I probably shouldn't listen to this person because it's not in my best interest, not in the best interest of my community. Because I just have a hard time feeling that Dr. King would have called the police on Malcolm X. I'm sorry. I'm just when Dr. King and Malcolm X saw each other in Washington D.C. They were there about the legislation. I think it was either on Civil Rights Act or the Voting Rights Act. They shook each other's hand and took a picture. Is that called? Is that what you call checking in, or was it just them being polite? hmm Was it just them being polite? I just think it was them being polite. Okay. And so, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Q Butter came on TV, no, came live, I think it was Sunday night, and said that Umar Johnson called the police on him at this Khalid Muhammad event. Now, for those of you who don't know who Khalid Muhammad is, he is a person who's in the Pan Africanist community. He died some years ago. He was part of, I believe, he was part of the Nation of Islam. So he's highly revered in, Pan Africanism, Black consciousness circles. This was an event. It was a Khalid Muhammad event. Q Butter has his own school in the community. Q Butter said that he had several students who attended. They texted him and said, "Hey, Dr. Umar Johnson is saying bad things about our school." Okay, I don't think which to be honest, I think I can actually. I kind of want to agree with the students and kind of want to agree with Q Butter because I've had students also say, "Oh, Miss Channel went to this event and they said these things. They said this, and that." And I always ask students like, "Give me all the details before I just take their side." But sometimes the students are right. He did shade Cuba to school and then asked for money for his own. He said, "Oh, how come I'm the only one in my community trying to build a school? How come none of my contemporaries are?" Excuse me, sir? I ain't never heard nothing like that out of Martin Luther King's mouth. Did he ever say, "Oh, how come all these other black ministers or black leaders are not fighting for civil rights?" Did he? I'm just trying to figure out when. Did he ever come out speech while he was there? Did he ever call popos on him? I'm just saying, like, you're this leader, you know, you're an example. Why are you calling the police on someone double parked? Or did because of your previous rhetoric, check out YM Wonder's last video on her channel. Did you know by Q Butter's previous rhetoric that this dude might actually punch me in the mouth? Because I've been saying some slick stuff about him. See, Dr. Umar Johnson likes to be this, I have 6 degrees. I think it's actually 5, but anyway, because a double degree. They used to give you one piece of paper, not 2, but I don't know. But they gave him 2. Still can't find your dissertation. I can find that. I bet I can find Dr. King's dissertation. Yes, I can. Mm-hmm. Yes, I can. I just need for y'all to stop with these things that y'all are saying about these people who do not deserve to get the same reverence as Dr. King. Boy, go lay down now. I want y'all to I'm gonna read something to you. Then I'm gonna be done. Okay. I'm gonna read for you some of the comments from Q Butter's video where he talks about what happened to him. Because he was really, really upset. Now but ironically though, I haven't heard nothing from Umar Johnson about this same event. So it makes me want. And usually he wants to talk about everything, everything and everything. He throws shade at a lot of people, but I just wonder, could keyboard be telling the truth? Hold on. Mhm. Okay, I'm trying to find the part where people were. Um, Somebody was in the chat. They were saying some things. Okay, I'm trying to get the part. Okay, here goes. Remember that touch 99? I want anointed that the people who follow Larry Reid and Umar Johnson, I mean, and Prophet Brian Carn say, this is someone from the chat, in Q Butter's chat. It says, what's the purpose of degrading another man's hard work? That's how Umar builds. Wow. Hmm. Like, like, yeah, like, yeah. Just, hmm. Okay, let me find another one. Cause I'm telling you, they're in this chat talking about, uh, um, okay. Sorry, y'all. I guess I am not finding it. I should have put. Mm-mm. Okay. Okay, y'all. I think I'm gonna close it down. I was trying to find the because there are people in the chat telling him like, "Oh, you're just trying to complain about another black man down. You're wrong. You should stop doing this." So I'm just like, this sounds just like touch my. I don't want this. Stop judging people. Okay. Thank y'all so much for listening to me, everybody. I'm gonna cut out the first few minutes of this because there was a lot of empty space. And but I just want y'all to really think about these three men on the left because I keep their followers keep saying keep running and caping for them, and I'm just like, y'all are not Dr. King. And Dr. King was not a saint or not uh to be revered like God, but I feel like he was really walking more in the spirit of God than these three on the left. And there are people who are just like, oh, you can't talk about them. Why not? Why not? Malcolm X actually gave constructive criticism about Dr. King. He said, I don't think you should be teaching kids how to do nonviolence. You should be out there protecting them. He did not think about nonviolence was up. Like, why can't, when I'll be non, he said, I'll be nonviolent when the will be nonviolent. Okay. Thank you, Raymond Ingram, Lindsay, QT1. All right. Angela Smith, boy, stop. Black Anonymous, thanks for coming on. Dr. Nikki, MPW Proctor Walden, Betty Yellick, T Streets, Christopher David. Okay, thank you so much. Those of you going to watch me on the replay, thank you so much for watching this video. So I hope it helps you get through your day tomorrow. But I just wanted to say something because I felt like It needed to be said. We're treating some of these leaders like Dr. King, and they're not. They are really not. Some of them are not taking up the mantle. Some of them shouldn't be taking the baton away from the work he's doing and then keep going on with it. There are others out there, other leaders, men of God, women of God, who can do this work. This is Let Me See Your Transcript, your very favorite history teacher. Good night.